What up? Good morning on a Tuesday, man. It's Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024. We're recapping the college football playoff semifinal games that went on last night, yesterday. What a great day for football, man. Obviously, if you're a Longhorn fan, if you're an Alabama fan, you're disappointed this morning, but such is football and such is the life of the competitors and being a fan of sports. Some you win and then some you lose. It just is what it is, man. We're going to recap the Sugar Bowl primarily, may get into a little bit of the Bama Michigan game right now on Menu 2 Sports on a Tuesday. Hit 'em up, baby. Hit 'em up.
Menu 2. Let's go to work.
Welcome in, baby, to Menu 2 Sports. I'm your man. Your main man, Manuel Posada. What a great game, man. What a great game. What a great day for college football. Football fans overall. Obviously, this morning you're waking up, you're disappointed as a Texas fan. Wish we could have pulled that one off, but it is how it is, man. You get this far, and the teams you're playing against are generally just as good or better than you are. And last night, there's just no doubt about it. The University of Washington deserves the credit. They played a better game than Texas. They frankly dominated the game throughout, in my opinion, most of the game. It just looked like to me that Washington was in control of that football game throughout. And having said that, there we are with 15 seconds left in the fourth quarter, and Texas has the ball inside the 15-yard line with a chance to take several shots at the end zone, and just came up short, unable to convert. I thought Sarkisian at the end of the game was elegant in the way he summarized what happened, and true to form for him. There's no excuses. There's no excuses here with Texas. All credit to Washington and what they did, and Texas just fell short. So, a couple of things. Talked yesterday about what I felt as far as this game was concerned. I really thought that the Texas offense would be able to keep up with that Washington offense. All things considered, what I felt about the Washington defense and just how I saw this Texas offense. I also felt that Washington would struggle to move the ball simply because they'd be unable to run it. They actually did not run it very well. They ran the ball 31 times for 102 yards. That's good for 3.3 per carry. So, the Texas D-line did their job as far as holding Washington on that end. But Michael Penix, 29 for 38 for 430. They just absolutely torched that Texas secondary. And Odunze, McMillan, and Polk, I had to make sure I get these guys' names right because they deserve their flowers today, man. I mean, they were lights out yesterday. And a couple other guys there too that caught balls for Washington. Washington on the offensive side, specifically the passing game, was just on another level last night. And obviously a reason for why they haven't lost a game this year is because they have a quarterback that is crafty, and they have a great passing game. It just simply looked unstoppable. Okay, it made it to where if you watch the entire game, you have, and you're being honest to yourself, Washington looked to be in control of that football game pretty much throughout. As a matter of fact, going into halftime, tied 21-21, and you're thinking, how is this game tied? Because it just seemed that Washington was in control. So, couple notes for the game. Penix, lights out. Washington receivers, unstoppable. Penix very slick in the pocket, man. I mean, the thing about it was the Texas defense put pressure throughout the night down the middle. But if Texas has a weakness on defense, and this is known, it is on the edges. Okay, we've got some young edge players that are developing, and Texas really over since Sark's been here. Frankly, that's been a position of, I won't call it weakness anymore, because Sorrell and Ethan Berg, they play, man. I mean, Ethan Berg is a hustler, and he was out there and he made his presence felt yesterday. But they don't have that game changer. Okay, they don't have a Trice. Okay, Trice put his imprint into that game. He was a big part of the reason for why Quinn Ewers was uncomfortable throughout, and that's what Texas is missing on the defense. As great as they are defensively, stopping the run and things of that nature, on the D-line, at the edges, we've got some work to do, but that's okay. We got some guys coming in. Obviously I said Burke. I think Sorrell's going to be back next year. We've got the number one edge in the country, Colin Simmons, coming in next year, and we've got Colton Bostic sitting, who a lot of people are have high hopes for him. So we'll see where that goes as far as Texas goes. But sticking with this game here, again, Penix, man. I mean, there was a couple of times Byron Murphy had a clean shot at him, and just Penix completely made him whiff. Same thing with Burke. There was a play that sticks out in my mind specifically where Washington was running some routes out to the right, and they left Burke completely untouched for whatever reason, whether it was intentional or not. Penix, his movement in the pocket was just on another level. I mean, it's what you expect to see from a quarterback that can succeed in the NFL. Is that they're not even necessarily looking at where the pressure's coming from, they just kind of feel it. And he had that on display last night for sure. Made Bird completely miss, and then I want to say in that particular play, he hit one of his receivers down the middle for a touchdown. It may have been the one that Malik Muhammad kind of sort of tipped. So, but yeah, Penix lights out, man. Odunze, 6 receptions, 125 yards. McMillan, 5 receptions, 58 yards. Polk, 5 receptions, 122 yards. 430 total passing yards for Penix. They just completely torched that Texas secondary and controlled the game. That was, like I said, 21-21 at halftime. And you're sitting there thinking, how this game is tied. Texas is still in it, in spite of the fact that it looked like Washington was in control. And I thought, you thought at that point, Texas may come out, because Texas was being successful running the football. Okay, Texas ended up with 180 yards rushing. They were averaging, and that's 6.4 yards per carry. That counts. Even the little backward passes in the backfield, which a lot of teams do nowadays, those count as carries. But 18 true carries, in spite all together 6.4 yards per attempt, whether it be straight rushing attempts or passes in the backfield. But I thought Texas would come out in the second half and do their best to control the game and kind of keep that University of Washington offense off the football field. And I believe, based on how they started, that was the plan for Sark as well, coming out of the half. But you get the fumble by Cedric Baxter right away, the second play of the second half for Texas, and turn the ball over to Washington, who had just driven down on their first. They received the ball in the second half. They just driven down and scored a touchdown, so they were up 7 at this point. You turn it over on your own side of the field. The defense did a good job to come in and hold them to a field goal, but now you're down 10 just like that. You get the ball back. You're unable. You go 3 and out. That was Texas's possessions. That was their possession for the third quarter. 2 possessions, 2 plays and a fumble, and a 3 and out. Texas ran 5 total plays offensively in the third quarter. And so that puts you behind the 8 ball, man. That changes everything. That changes whatever you thought you were going to do coming out of the half. You've got to adjust at that point, because not only are you down 10, But you're playing catch up now at this point. So whatever intentions you've had of hopefully keeping that University of Washington offense on the sideline went out the window right there in the third quarter with that 1-3 and out and those fumbles. So you get that going, and then you turn around in the fourth quarter and you're driving down and another fumble. So you can't win a football game typically if you lose the turnover battle. Washington had the one mistake on the muff punt in the first half, which was that was a big reason for why the game was tied at the end of the half. But Texas turned around and returned the favor with two fumbles in the second half, one by Baxter and one by Blue. And that in a nutshell is probably the difference in the game. Is why it seemed like Washington was so in control throughout. So 10 points in the second half for Texas. The secondary was just unable to really cause any havoc for those Washington receivers. And we thought going into this game, specifically because Derek Williams, the star freshman safety for Texas, who got called for targeting in the Big 12 championship, was going to miss the first half of the football game. So you thought that he, when he get a chance to come back, that things might change for the Texas secondary. You thought that Washington would attack the safeties, because that has kind of been the weakness for the Texas secondary. But no, man, Washington, I think they felt we don't have to specifically attack the safeties, man. If they put us one-on-one with their corners, we can attack their corners, and they did just that. They attacked Ryan Watts, the boundary corner, and frankly, they attacked Terrence Brooks, who true sophomore corner, pretty good player, but they went after him. Interestingly enough to me, they didn't really go after Malik Muhammad a whole lot. They did have the one touchdown pass on him, but Malik Muhammad is legit, man. I think Texas fans have something to look forward to with this kid. True freshman. He'll be around for a while, and I'm looking forward to checking him out here in the years to come. But the speed at the secondary was a problem, and so that was evident throughout the game. In the end, I think after all that, I think we're talking here, and if you're kind of just listening in and you're somebody that didn't watch the game, you're probably thinking, well, hell, this must have been a blowout. No, we're sitting there at the end, fourth quarter, 15 seconds left or so. Texas has the ball inside the 15 with a chance to throw a touchdown pass in the end zone and win the football game, because they're down by 6 at that point. So, in the end, Texas fought like they have all year. This is a team that ends their season at 12-2, but both losses, last-second losses. The loss to Oklahoma, where they take the lead with just a little bit over a minute left in the game. Oklahoma drives it down and punches it in with seconds left on the clock to win that football game. And then here on this end, the defense gets Texas the ball back with 50 seconds or so left in the game. Primarily due to an injury to one of the Washington to the Washington running back, who got injured on the third down play, and cost the clock to stop, and it affected Washington's ability to run more time off the clock. Gave Texas a little more time. Texas drives it down about 60 yards or so to put it inside the 15 and get a chance to try and win the football game. Just fell short. So, in the end, Texas fought. The Texas secondary was torched, but the one thing that felt true, that I felt, I just felt that this Washington offense, they do rely on the run to some degree. Okay, you have to, you can't be one-dimensional on offense, and Texas did make them one-dimensional. It's just a matter of fact that they have a great offense, and they got some NFL caliber receivers. I mean, the three guys I mentioned, Odunze, McMillan, and Polk, all three of these guys are going to be NFL draft picks. And Odunze may be the first receiver taken in the NFL draft this coming year. The only other one that I could think of that may go ahead of him is Marvin Harrison Jr. And there's some people that like Odunze better. So keep an eye out for that. When somebody like that torches you, as a competitor, you just, you shake their hand and you tell them, great job, man, you're a great player, and you move on, because, there's just some guys out there that are just different. And the Texas secondary, although it has been a weakness all year long, that Texas secondary has some good football players that are going to play on Sunday as well. Okay, Ryan Watts is going to play in the NFL. Terrence Brooks is going to play in the NFL. Malik Muhammad is going to play in the NFL. So don't get it twisted when you hear folks talk about this Texas secondary out there like they're a bunch of bums, because that's just not the case. Okay, the reality of it is, Texas still has a little bit of work to do to be one of those defensive teams that can really wreck any offense out there, and they're just not there yet. But we got some good football players in that secondary. So, in all, for Texas, Washington moves on to play Michigan in the national championship. And hats off to them, and good luck to them on Monday. Hopefully that's a great game for us college fans to watch, and cap the season off with an awesome last game. As far as Texas is concerned, like I said, we end the season at 12-2, and obviously disappointed, but extremely proud of kind of the team that Steve Sarkisian and company have built here in Austin, Texas, for the Texas Longhorns. End at 12-2, Big 12 champions, 2 very close losses to one to Oklahoma, kind of a middle of the pack team, and one to a very good University of Washington team that hasn't lost a game all year. It may turn out to be the national champion, quite frankly. If you watched the Rose Bowl early on, that was also a great game, but that was a sloppier game, and that was a sloppier game. And I think the month layoff affects all teams. I don't know if this is kind of typical of college football playoff, that teams kind of start to play a little sloppy, especially at the beginning. But that is a long layoff, so I could see where that may be the case. But Washington definitely looked clean. I think they had like 2 or 3 penalties all night long, which was just incredible. Just played a clean game. Not Texas did not do that. Texas, false starts, lining up offsides, illegal procedures, several things, holding calls. It was a variety of items that kind of put Texas behind the chains a couple of times and killed the drives. So as a Longhorn, you move on, and you put a cap on the season, and you appreciate what this team was able to do and how far they got, knowing that going into the season, a lot of folks had Texas winning the Big 12, but there are many people that had Texas going into Tuscaloosa and beating Alabama, and making the college football playoff, right? Matter of fact, most folks are, Texas. Here go all the Texas hype again. I think we started the season ranked in the top 15, but not in the top 10. So Texas over exceeds expectations this season, and they move on. We'll see kind of what shakes out here over the next couple of weeks. Sarkisian will start having his exit interviews with all the players. Obviously, there are some players that we're losing that are going to hurt. We're going to lose players like Xavier Worthy, he's very likely gone. Adonai Mitchell's very likely gone. JT Sanders, the tight end, is very likely gone. Jordan Whittington, man, what a rock he has been for this program. He'll be gone. And good luck to those guys in the NFL, and thank you for everything you did for the University of Texas. On the defensive side, we're going to lose the two stalwarts in the middle, and Byron Murphy and T'Vondre Sweat. And Jaylan Ford, the linebacker, he'll be gone. I'm not sure exactly what will happen in the secondary. I know Jaron Thompson, this is probably his last year. So at the safety position, we've got a few guys that I think we're well positioned that will make an impact next year. Guys like Jelani McDonald and things of that nature. The secondary and the edge position, which were considered by many to be probably the weaknesses, the weak points on this team. And I say that, consider the fact this is a college football playoff caliber team. This team was in the college football playoff. So me saying this about weaknesses in any part of the team is no knock on the players. We're talking about a solid football team that very easily, that was 15 seconds away, one touchdown pass away from playing for a college football national championship. So, I am not by any means knocking these players. We're a long ways from 5-7 2 seasons ago, and even 8-4 last year. This is a good football team. This was a great football team that had an opportunity to potentially win it all, and we're right there to the very end. So I am not knocking these players by any means. What I'm telling you is Texas is reloading. Texas is losing some good players. Yes, Byron Murphy, Sweat. We're talking about the Outland Trophy winner. We're talking about the Big 12 Defensive Lineman of the Year, Jaylan Ford. We're talking about a guy that was a finalist for the Butkus last year. Should have been the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year last year, and just an excellent linebacker. So we're losing some big time players and some big time pieces, but there's some players waiting in the wings to come in and take over for those guys that you may or may not have heard of, depending on how close you follow this team. But on the defensive line, we've got guys like Sadir Mitchell who are going to be ready to come in and take over. We'll see what happens with Alfred Collins. Obviously, at the linebacker position, we've got the young freshman Anthony Hill, who played big minutes, played big time this year. He's only going to get better. Smosh Burrell and Darian Gillette, you'll be seeing them come in. And then in the secondary, I think where you'll see the biggest improvement, just because of how Texas has been able to recruit at those positions, the safety and the corner positions here over the last year and a half or so, because of the success that Sarkisian and staff are having. We've got some dogs coming in, kind of just like Malik Muhammad, who came in last year, and Malik Muhammad may be our best corner. He's a true freshman. Okay, we've got guys like him coming in, guys like Xavier Filsaime coming in to help that secondary at the safety. We've got guys like Kobe Black coming in, Wardell Mack, Jordan Johnson Rebel, a bunch of guys coming in. Texas and Steve Sarkisian and staff are reloading this football team, and the program is in a good spot. On the offensive side, it appears to me that Quinn Ewers is coming back. He hasn't officially announced, but based on how he was talking yesterday, that would appear to be the case. Because he's talking about what we need to do to kind of get over the hump in his press conference. Now, it's in the moment, and I'm sure there's a lot of things going through his head, and people are asking him about what he thinks Texas needs to do to take that next step. But there was already a big feeling that Quinn would be back, I think, because he put out that he was about 90% leaning towards coming back next year. And so that'll be good. despite what some people feel. We got Arch Manning waiting in the wing, and he looks to be ready to go. But he may have to wait another year, back up Quinn, and we'll see where that goes. On the receiver side, losing A.D. Mitchell and Xavier Worthy, that's going to be a big undertaking to replace those guys. But Texas and Sark have already started. We got a 5-star Ryan Wingo coming in. I think a lot of people are expecting him to have an impact. And Matthew Golden, the transfer from Houston, will be coming in to help out. And we'll see what else. Texas still has room in the portal to make some noise there, depending on what's available. And we'll see where they take that. On one final note, Xavier Worthy, J.T. Sanders, Jordan Whittington. I mean, those guys, all three of those guys were on that 5-7 team. Okay, and we're talking about 5-star blue chip players that came in and endured some hard times with Steve Sarkisian, and now they're going to leave this program in a much better place than where they found it. And so kudos to them. I have a feeling Xavier Worthy is injured still from his high ankle sprain in the Big 12 championship, and I'm glad that there was very little, if any, mention of that yesterday, because they ain't trying to make no excuses, and I don't even have this confirmed. But Xavier Worthy, had 2 catches for 45 yards yesterday, and was essentially a non-factor. And I noticed at the end of the game, Washington didn't even have their best corner on him. So that tells me a lot. They had their best corner on A.D. Mitchell, and that told me a lot. I think he was still struggling with movement, and probably was still somewhat effective, because he did break down the seam at one point, and if Trice doesn't put pressure on Quinn puts that on a dot, and we're talking about a touchdown. But I do have a feeling that he's still a little bit lingering that ankle, and that affected the game yesterday. But all in all, congratulations to Washington, and congratulations to Texas on a great season. And we move forward, and we try and get back to it. First year in the SEC. I couldn't be more excited about where Texas is as a program. Obviously disappointed that we won't play for a national championship this year, but the program is on the up and up, and all the haters can hate, because Texas is right there. We're this close, baby. We're this close, and when you get this close, it's a game of inches. It can go your way and it cannot, and I have no reason to believe that this team will not be one of those dominant teams where it goes our way all of a sudden here very soon. So hook 'em all and turn me up one last time for the one time Texas Longhorns, baby. We end the season on a high note, and we do what we do. Thank you for listening to Manu 2 Sports. Please don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and follow us for more content.
It was always me versus me. It was never me versus you. Misunderstood. Get up, had to beat those odds. Got up and I beat those odds. It's understood. It was always me versus me. It was never me versus you. And now I'm good. Wake up and I do my part. Wake up and I do my job. Just how I should.